There are a lot of different ways to release stress, right? There's breathing techniques, there's redirecting your mind, there's laughing, there's talking with a friend, there's jumping up and down, there's running, exercise, all kinds of things. Journaling, right? Yoga, all those things release stress. And I like to think of it as releasing tension, because what they don't do, in meditation included, what they don't do is get to the root of your stress. Okay? So I specialize in helping people to really get to the root of their stress so that it's no longer an issue. It's a non-issue, so that you're no longer triggered by the same things anymore. You're no longer, you feel that panic when you get the angry email, right? Or when you're about to go on stage, or when you're about to launch one of your programs. You don't get that panic anymore, because it's a non-issue, because you have released the root of the stress. And the root of the stress is going to be something like early emotional trauma. And for a lot of people watching this, they're going to say, I don't have any emotional trauma. I had a normal childhood. My childhood was just fine. But here's the thing. Your parents are human beings. And you know what it means to be a human being? It means that we are messy, we make mistakes, we emotionally react, we are learning by doing as a parent, we're learning as we go along. Your parents made mistakes. Other adults in your lives made mistakes. Other siblings and friends made mistakes with you. And the fact is, somewhere in your subconscious along the way, you had a disempowering meaning that you put to an event. Everybody does this. I have like more of those than I could possibly count. Okay, so if we can just wrap our heads around this and accept that, okay, this is a reality of my experience, and some of these definitions that we created, some of these identities that we created a long time ago, those are still affecting me. And you know, this is what I see in all of my clients. This is what I see in almost everybody that I have ever encountered. I'm able to pick those things up really fast, and I can trace it back to, you know, specific events that happened early on in life. All right, those things cause stress. They're like these stress loops, these patterns that occur over and over again. We actually subconsciously seek them out because that's what we know is normal. That's what's comfortable for us, because we, in a sense, we always want to go back to being a child. Childhood is safety. Childhood is comfort. Childhood is when we supposedly were taken care of completely. So part of us always wants to go back to that, right? And if we experience some kind of a stress or some kind of emotional trauma, and especially chaos, we try to reproduce those situations in different forms in our life, in our present lives. So when we get triggered, when we get stressed, when we feel that pang of panic in our stomachs, there's a part of us that's going back and accessing a definition that we created a long time ago. Okay, so that's why meditating and yoga and breathing and affirmations and journaling don't help to pull the stress out from the root. It's like mowing the grass, right? It's like mowing over the weeds. Those roots are still deeply embedded in, if it's a true weed, it's going to grow back fiercer than ever if you're always mowing them down or even stomping them down, right? A lot of times, positive thinking is like stomping down the weeds. If you really want to have a genuine transformation, a lasting change that lasts a lifetime, it never reverts back, then you need to pull that sucker out from the roots and put something back in to take its place, okay? And so that is what I teach my clients, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it today. So there's really 5 basic steps, or we're going to talk about 4 basic steps today. And the first one is to pause. To just pause. Whenever you feel that panic come up, or that pang in your stomach, or that urgency that something needs to happen now, and the world is going to end if it doesn't happen now. Whenever you feel that, just pause. And the more urgent it feels, the longer you pause. Okay? Now as you're pausing, take a few deep breaths. You want to breathe in through your belly. You can even close your eyes. Excuse me. And pause. Alright? And while you're paused and taking those deep breaths, you connect. This is number 2. You connect to the life force. This life force is the energy that's all around us, that's through us, and it's an intelligent energy. It's what gives us life. It's what makes us feel alive. It's what gives us joy. It feels like love. So pause, breathe, connect to this life force. Breathe it in, feel it seeping in through your pores, feel it lighting you up from the inside. It feels delicious. Alright? And as this life force permeates through you and circulates through your body, we're turning on that flow. Okay? As it circulates and increases the flow through your body, it allows that stress to release. It allows the stress to release. And when you are truly connecting to the life force, and we go much more in depth of this in my program, but it allows the wounds to open up. And I say wounds, you can think of it like, say you've got a splinter. Okay, the splinter is, my dad yelled at me when I was a kid, when I brought him my prized drawing. And he yelled at me for not doing the dishes when all I wanted to do was show him this drawing I was so proud of. And my dad yelled at me, and it jabbed, being dramatic, it dragged the splinter into my heart. But really, that's what happens, all right? And so that splinter is jabbed into your heart, or wherever it is in your body, and that splinter has a meaning attached to it. That splinter is a meaning. And then the wound closes tightly over it, all right, holding on to that meaning. And so when you fill yourself with this life force energy, it just allows everything to open up. It allows that wound to open up, and allows the splinter to be pulled out. All of it. It's like when you have, say you get a tick, okay? If you're from the East Coast, you know how ticks are, okay? So you get a tick and you just try to rip it off. The head is still going to be in there, and it's going to cause problems. So you want to have a method that actually opens up the area that the tick is lodged in. You want to open that up and actually allow the tick to back its way up. Okay? So it's the same thing with these emotional wounds, these emotional traumas that are causing us the stress that we feel today. Okay, so that is number 3, is releasing. Now, through this process, it's going to open up your awareness, and it's going to activate your spiritual connection, which brings on inspiration. And I want you to be really careful and pay very close attention throughout this process to your thoughts. Now, I do not recommend clearing your thoughts during this process, because part of the process is very important, crucial thoughts coming through and streaming through your nervous system and coming into your awareness. And when you get these thoughts, I want you to act on them immediately. And that action might be writing it down in your journal. It might be calling somebody. It might be saying something to somebody in the next room. It might be looking something up on the computer. It could be anything. Okay, but you need to take some kind of action immediately, in that inspired action is going to initiate a new pattern. And initiating that new pattern, grounding it into your reality, is what closes those subtle stress loops that you experience every single day. All right, so this process, 1 is pausing, 2 is connecting to your life force, 3 is releasing, and 4 is acting, inspired action. This process is going to transform the way that you respond to people. It's going to transform your sales calls. It's going to transform your client relationships, your personal relationships, the way that you parent. It's going to transform everything in your life. All right, so I want you to go try this and let me know how it goes for you. Let me know all about your experience. I love hearing about your experience, and I can even give you some feedback if you'd like. All right, so enjoy and have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will